Ahead and call to order this workshop of June 4th, 2 o'clock. It's 2:03.
Which consists of the two of us.
Here,
What do you want to do?
You and I.
What do you want to do?
yeah.
Since there are no votes being
Do,
taken.
I don't need to
We could
do
call
any
for
motion
pizza
to have
instead.
them on board since there's no
Voting.
voting anyway. Okay,
Stephen Bloom is online as well. He just joined.
who?
Stephen Bloom.
Oh, Steve, okay,
Yeah.
okay. We've gotten version 3 of the 2027 budget. Do you want to go through and make a presentation of changes, or just want to go straight to questions?
Straight to questions.
Well, could I ask?
Because I'm going to go real fast and be done.
Oh, okay. So on the capital improvement, you had
Yes.
sent us an email which
Oh.
condensed.
Yep, just a
Uh,
minute.
everything.
Let me pull that up. I
Could you
am
pull up
prepared for that.
email
Yeah.
so we could just look at?
When did
the-
we get this email? I don't recall this email.
Well, I saw it today. So what was it, yesterday, the day before? I don't know when
I haven't
this.
seen this.
No, I think it only went to Carol.
So I'm
'cause she asked for
assuming
it.
that this is just the new bond stuff.
Yep, if you look in this
So-
column right here,
Rather than go through.
this
that
column right here, this
whole
is,
3 or 4 pages or whatever it was.
yep.
If we could just look at this, the
Yep.
new bond stuff.
And that was why I broke it out this way. So this
Which-
is all
the-
just new
the
bonds.
first-
Okay.
This is
and-
not in the board pack.
I was going to say, those first 4 pages are
Yes,
in the
this-
board pack. The pages that showed the bond are not in this
This,
packet.
this is what we're looking at right now? Correct, it is not in the board pack.
No, not only that's not there, but the one that was online, go online. Unless my printer screwed up, go back to the
You mean
very.
the capitals?
Yes,
Okay.
go back to the capitals, the very first 5 pages. No,
No, I gotta get there, just give me a
No.
second.
The
There you
first
go.
item.
They're all here, new bond.
okay, I made a copy. No, I didn't. I had Georgia make me a copy, and the capital stuff's not in there.
It's here.
Okay, yeah, I know it's there. I've been
Oh, she
reading
must
it,
not have
but it's
printed the
not copied.
pages. Oh, she
Okay,
must just not have
we'll
printed
do it
those
the easy-
pages for
do it
you.
the hard way.
Okay, so there,
Let's-
I mean,
we'll
I
start
know I
with the
put it in
capital and Go
there.
from there.
So do you want to start with that workbook? This?
Hold on.
Well, I just thought it'd be easier if we just go to her email. Because all the other stuff we
is it-
talked
is-
about,
is it-
these are just all the stuff that would be the new bond.
Okay, well, I was
So I
going
think that's
over,
what we need to discuss.
I was going over both capital and new bond as it relates purely to Parks and Recreation. That's the only one I got.
Okay. So if I could just kind of generally explain, and I'm going to take your thunder for just a minute.
The
So,
work, you get the credit, it's okay.
so what we've done is you at the last meeting said, hey, we're going to do a bond. If we're going to do a bond, let's do the bond. So the exercise that we've done with regards to the CIP is anything that was new bond related. So go to the capital of the CIP sheet.
My stupid mouse is all over.
So the CIP document, anything that says new bond, Laura pulled out and made a simplified Excel sheet of that. Now, I'm going to caveat that with the 1 or 2 items that were previously listed under capital. So for example, Parks and Rec, you allocated $200,000 for them to do whatever capital project that they wanted to do. Where that was previously on version 2 under capital, we put that to new bond. Because most likely it's going to be a large capital project that you're going to want to amortize over 20 years. So the
But You're
numbers,
assuming it's got a service life of
yes,
5 years or greater.
yes.
Okay.
So we did follow up with bond counsel. The original validation allows us to go up to 30 years. I don't think that this board would want to do that. So we had our number guru who did the last bond series for us.
The bond people allow you to go up to 30 with the knowledge that the life of the stuff on the bond is 10?
The
I can't
validation
believe they would
allows,
allow
The
that.
validation
Yeah.
allowed it.
yes.
So what we've done is we reached out to the bond lady and said, hey, run the numbers at 15 years, run the numbers at 20 years. Understand? Rhonda. So the numbers that we gave her in order to run are what you see here. And I'll let Laura explain the color differentiation of them.
Okay, well, go to the sheet that shows each one of this 10,999,000. Go to the sheet that shows it so we see exactly what that item is, or is that the color coding over
That's
here?
the color coding. So the
Okay.
admin is
So
the yellow.
anything that's associated with this new bond is on this sheet?
Correct.
It's nothing on any other sheet?
Correct.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
yes, I
I think
know.
it
I mean,
simplifies it, Ed.
yeah,
So we
but-
can just talk on this.
these items are all included in that CIP that's in your budget pack, but they're at the bottom of the list on each page. I just felt since we were talking about bonds, it was easier to pull them all out and just put them on their own page.
Does this
They're
requ-
still in the other plan.
Does this require a validation?
Yes.
No.
No, not validation.
No.
No.
So-
The $55 million in bonds were validated.
Yes.
This would be another series of bonds issued pursuant to that.
Is this a part of that?
Issued pursuant to that prior validation, is my understanding.
Okay,
Yes.
my thing is, what are we approving something new, or are we approving taking something out of something that's already a bond? Is this a
You're
brand
appro-
new bond?
If the board decides to fund it the way is requested, the board would issue a new bond series, 2026, however you want to call it, with the project being whatever the list of capital projects, and it'll be, and it's
So this list would be on, if we went with this whole thing, this list would be on there
as the project.
as the projects, but they would only show up as principal and interest if they came back before the board and are approved. Or are they approved at this point?
Okay,
Because you start
Okay.
paying, a real easy deal. Do you start paying P&I on this right now?
No.
once the bonds are issued, then you have an amortization schedule that goes with the bonds.
What are we approving then if they're, what are we doing then?
Let me,
Okay,
so I will explain.
step one.
This is a multi-step process. So these are the identified projects if you wanted to proceed with doing the new bond that we've all been discussing. So the next step in this process is once you're okay in concept with this list, I would go to Tetra Tech as our district engineer and say, hey, I need an engineer's report for another series under that previous validation. I'd go to Russ and say, I need the supplemental
Yep.
report matching with the engineer's report with the engineer's number,
assessment
validating these numbers, and that those two we would bring back to you for your review and approval and blessing. And as part of that, Stephen Bloom would run his numbers, bond counsel would run their numbers. We would have the dollar amount. We would do exactly like we did before. This wouldn't hit until a year from now.
November of 2027.
We would
Typically, there's
account,
What do you mean it wouldn't hit?
Well, there's capitalized, part of the
Principal and
bond,
interest payments?
part of the bond issue, the bond proceeds would be a capitalized interest portion.
Okay.
So that the first payment for the debt service assessment will not take place until the 2027, 2028 fiscal year.
But that's my
Correct.
point I'm trying to get to. It's a real simple question. Are we committing to building the things that's on here for which we're borrowing this money right now? Because we are, you can take that whole 7,109,000 out. We'll go for that. Not ready to make any commitment whatsoever on any bond. If it's to have a bond available, that's fine. But the minute we have to start paying principal and interest on it, means that we still have to
So
start
for
building it,
purposes-
and I don't want to build it.
for purposes of today's discussion, what we've done is, what Laura and Stephen have done is taken these projects and this dollar amount, we've put it through the methodology and said, what is Pelican's proportionate share if it was run through the methodology? Now, for purposes of high water mark,
But everybody's share is.
well, everybody's share, but understanding the 001 would use the bond for their payment because you have that funding source. Pelican does not have a bond for the funding source. They would have a 5-year loan. They could pull it from reserves.
Finance how they want to
could
finance
assess
it.
it, yes. But so we had to run that in order to know what their proportionate share was if you proceeded with all of these projects, and what potentially, if they chose to assess, because we've not given them the opportunity to weigh in, if they chose to assess for high water, their $630,000 number.
But you're still not hearing what I'm trying to come to. If we don't know how much of the 50 or 70%, 75% revenue we're getting back, how do you know what to assess other than to do worst case scenario and assess the full amount because you haven't got the money? That's a road I don't want to go down. That's dangerous.
Well, this is why we wanted to present you the numbers so you guys had the opportunity to look at and say, okay, Pelican's portion would be approximately 630,000. The enterprise fund would be 100,000, and then the general fund would be the 10.2. So.
Okay, why would enterprise have anything to do with Parks and Recreation?
They don't.
It doesn't.
No, if you look here, it's only for admin. They're only being assessed on the admin line.
Okay, I see what you're saying, going across. So what's the cost, just of what if we took the 7 million of Parks and Recreation out and say, hey, we don't know enough right now to make that commitment. Let's make that bond 7 million less, and next year, should we have information to show that they came in with $400,000 that changes the deal, we put this back in.
Would be pushing that decision to a future date for
Okay,
any of those
but
projects.
my deal is that it would not, is there a cost difference of having a bond? Right now, this total bond is basically 11 million, correct? What's the difference of it being 4 million?
You would.
We can do that.
Yes, 100%. Now,
okay.
I'm gonna caveat that is, if you're gonna go through a bond series, you're gonna have bond counsel.
That's what I
You're
was
gonna
getting
have
to.
all
You're
of
going to
the
have the associated cost of doing the bond.
processing another series.
But that, I have a feeling is, do we have an idea what that number is?
Yes.
How much is that?
So we had
Or two.
Rhonda run the preliminary numbers based
Here's
on
the
the
number I wanted.
projects.
So it's six, you got to throw out that capitalized interest because that's based off that total amount. So that goes down proportionally with the total.
Yes.
So, but your offset bond costs are 600,000 out of 10 million. So you're what, 0.06? Is that what that is? 0.006? Yeah. 0.06. No, 0.006. Not worth doing it. That's no. That's the only thing I saw that I have any question with on anything on the budget is that the expenditure of this deal, we're not ready for it. All of those things there that if this thing falls through are going to be nothing but an albatross around our neck for 20 years of paying it, and could possibly be paying it for a dirt field.
Hey, guys.
I have a question.
Okay,
On,
go ahead, Bob.
Item number 8, surface water aerators.
Who's on?
I understand
That's
what
Bob.
it is. Can you hear me?
What'd you say, Bob?
He's asking
My-
a question about
my
8
question has
surface
to
water
do-
aerators.
With the aerators, none of those aerators are going in Pelican. We've already got them. Why are we paying 17.6?
That one is specifically for the pond that is right behind the commons area, which is technically on a flowway. So if you wanted to do a different one, we could move that money. Again, this is just
I
preliminary.
just want to know, I want to know what that common area is. Keep talking. I don't know where I've got aerators everywhere in Pelican. Why are we putting aerator money into Pelican 02?
This would be a flowway, or technically it's a pond that's part of a flowway right behind the commons, right behind where the new admin building
We're
would
talking
be.
about where it crosses Gateway Boulevard.
I have nothing to do with that from a cost point of view. That's totally and entirely the Gateway.
Okay.
What'd you say?
He said that is a 001 function, not an 002 function.
But is it in a flowway? That's my question.
He would be
Yeah. Okay.
paying 17.
That
He
pond
doesn't want to pay
goes into that flowway, yes,
17,600.
directly into that
Because he
flowway.
says it has nothing to do with Pelican.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to argue about that one. But it is.
So that could
But-
move.
But the minute we cross the golf course into Prado,
Yep.
everything's at a ratio.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree with that.
So that could
Okay,
move.
okay. Thank you.
Okay,
And
so,
I agree with Ed about the park and rec. If our vote or decision or whatever, when we go into a general session, approves the money, it seems to me we are then committed to spending portions of that money, and I'm a long way from that.
Well, that's why I asked the question, Bob,
I'm
is
with you,
that
Nick.
in a
I'm-
year and a half, when you go through the 1 year delay, you start paying principal and interest, you're going to do it, or otherwise you're going to be sitting there paying principal and interest for nothing.
I agree with you
We can
100%.
defer that issue for another year and do the same thing if the share, but Laura, check my numbers. I want to make sure I made that correct. That 600,000 out of 10 million, that's not 6%. That would be, or is it 6%? What the hell is, I can't do it in my head.
Sounds like 6%, Ed.
600,000 is what percent of
10
10
million.
million? Got it. I'm too slow here. It's 0.006, I think.
Yeah, 6%.
6%.
No, I think it's 0.6%.
No.
6.
6%,
I just did it right here.
straight 6%.
Yep.
Then
Okay.
before you contemplate nixing all Parks and Rec out of this, I want to call out that there's the parking lot at the soccer complex in there and the 200,000 that you've already told the PrAC that they could have.
That's what I was going to next, is that,
Okay,
that 2,529,000, that's associated with the facility we're doing right now, correct?
That number never got updated from so it's technically, it should be 2.8 million based on the CIP sheet. Remember, Carol, you called me and you said, why is there a 2.5 number and a 2.8 number? That 2.5 number is the current, we did not update it for the 2.8 number.
Well, what is the 2.8 number?
Well, yeah,
Because you had that under the next year.
What's the difference between the 2,529 and
You had that under
2,550?
8.
Are those numbers doubled?
No,
I thought those had to be, I thought that
Okay.
original $6 or $7 million project we did included the Parks and Recreation.
okay, let me explain.
This.
So the 2.529 is the current phase. We failed to update that number. The real number should be the 2.8, which is comprised of all of the details in the notes to the right.
Was it entered in 27 and 28 then? Or are the two added?
No, it is only 2.8.
So the 2.8 should go away and the fiscal 27 should be 2.8.
So you just move the 2.5 out and put the 2.8 over?
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
Okay, and that is for the current park.
Yes, right?
No.
No.
no, because that's what I'm
No.
getting confused, because if you look at the description, it says,
Correct.
yeah,
Dog
no,
park,
that's
Zora.
not.
These are things that are in
Pavilion
addition to that was
pathways.
planned when we built the project.
Yes.
Okay, so then that 2.8 goes over. Then what is the 2.55 down below that?
That is the sod and the irrigation and the parking lot for the Sherman Soccer
Why
Complex.
does, that's where you got to put soccer in there. That's
Yeah.
confusing.
I
That's-
agree,
You
thank you.
need soccer in there some way, somehow to delineate that has nothing to do with nothing else other than soccer.
Okay, so the stuff that you're going to do that's been approved already, the pickleball courts, the whatever,
Funded.
whatever,
That's already done.
that's already funded.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Current bonds.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I'm just
And
gonna say this,
if you
I don't
only-
even know why.
if you only
Go
then
back.
wanted to do Doug's grass at the Commons, that would be the only additional thing that would have to be added, that you would have to do this year, so at least it would look like a park and not weeds or something.
So that number is in we would
Included.
reduce that 2.8 number on the commons amenities. So we would just put the zoysia with irrigation at 500,000. And then if you so chose to move the dog park, we could incorporate that.
I guess what I'm saying is, if by the end of this budget year, you want to open the commons, given that hopefully the administrative building will be done in August or something, and in September, all the pickleball, all that is, and you want to open the park, what money do you need yet to do that, to be able to open it?
Based on decisions that the board has made.
Yes.
You said the goal is to have zoysia. So
Yes.
I would need $500,000 for the zoysia and
Go back to that sheet.
zoysia and irrigation.
Yes.
The board has said you want a fence along the frontage of Gateway Boulevard.
Yes.
That's 200,000. So now we're at 700,000.
Okay.
Where's that at? I don't see that in there.
That is under admin.
At a part of that 2.8?
No,
This is
the
confusing.
200,000 on,
Why wouldn't that fence be in here in this?
Because it would be under admin. It could go either way. You could put it under Parks and Rec or you could put it under
Oh, okay.
admin.
So-
I chose to put it under admin.
Okay, so it's that 200,000.
So
Yes.
that's what that is.
Okay.
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 What else is there? Is there anything else besides fence and grass?
Go to that page again, please.
Those are the two you've said as a board that you want to proceed with. You could do additional pathways, you could do additional pavilions and put those in if you wanted. They're not needed. That could be future phasing. But for what you've said to date, I would need $700,000.
That band shell million and the food truck parking 500,000, I'd say no.
I
That's-
have to
I
agree with
think,
that.
I think you should open the commons, get it ready, open it as a park, and see how people are using it.
Before you spend for the other
Before you
stuff.
go spending anything on another phase. You know,
I
give it
I
a
could,
year
I could go with the
and
grass.
of just being what it is, to see who's using what and when and where and what demands there are, if any.
One of the other things that I haven't mentioned, which PrAC just met last week, but they did vote to recommend to you all to move the dog park to the commons. So we're getting
The
some
commons, hold on, Chelsea, hold on.
to the
The
commons.
commons, not the fun park. We talked about the fun park.
Correct, but PrAC recommended for you to move the
Okay, that's a
dog.
recommendation. We'll make that decision, okay.
Correct. So they recommended for you to move it to the commons. Regardless, if you move it anywhere, I don't have the $150,000 in the budget as it is written today. It is only in this new bond. So those are-
I'm not worried about the dog park and the irrigation and the grass. I just don't think I want to spend $1 million and the food truck parking lot right now. I'm completely agreeing with Carol and the gymnasium there. I have no idea, but I'm fine with the dog park because it's something that's being used. It's not something that, you know, I'm fine with that, and then I'm fine with the irrigation and zoysia. But everything else, I would hold on until we open. That's how I feel.
Okay,
Okay,
I've got
so
one other, go back to the green page, please, the multicolor page. When Chelsea, if I think I heard you correctly, the admin line, the 200,000, there's a portion of that that could have been park versus admin. Did I understand that correctly?
yeah, the front fence that you would like, that the board would like along the frontage of
Right.
the parcel, you could choose to code it parks or you could choose to code it admin. I put it to admin, so because the enterprise fund is paying a proportionate share of that, half of it, and it is protecting
the admin building.
the admin building. But
I don't
you
have any
could choose to go either way, Bob.
I don't have any problem. I don't have any problems with that. I'm fine with the way it is
No,
now.
I don't have a
Well,
problem with that.
I'm
I have a
okay
problem
with-
with that other 2.8 million. That's where I have a problem.
Well, I'm gonna go back to to me, if we weren't doing the park, we wouldn't be doing that. And if we were just protecting the admin, it would be a much smaller fence. So I would druthers, it seems that's more appropriate as a park item than an admin item.
That fence is only for the frontage road.
Yes,
It doesn't wrap around.
correct.
So
Yeah,
it
but
really
it's- but
has,
So it's admin. So
But
to
it's
me, it's
great.
admin.
it would be more
is much
admin than
greater.
anything else then.
It is a much greater fence than just the admin fence. It is
No,
encompassing.
but she's saying, but Bob, what she's saying is, it is just, that 200,000 is just the front, so then I'm gonna agree it's admin. I also would agree that if it was all the way around, then it would have to split somehow. But if it's just the front, it's admin, really.
I think it'd be admin.
I think
The
you
thing-
could wrap that admin
My-
bill 3
my
times
issue
for
is-
200,000.
I don't care about the admin on the 200. What I'm worried about is that 2.8 million. I'm just,
Okay,
Well, I don't worry about the
I
2.8
can see
million,
doing
but I'm worried
the
about the
grass,
200,000.
but the other things is, no, we're not ready.
okay, so we've heard, I hear you. Let's do this right now. Let's reduce the 2.8 million. Do you want to
Go back to that
tell me
page.
what you were okay with keeping in that? So do you want to keep the zoysia and the irrigation at 500,000?
Yes.
That and the dog park would be the only two things I do at all right now.
650.
Okay, so let's reduce the 2.8 to the 650.
Reduce it to what, those two added together, 650.
Okay,
And then
so we don't want any lights at the soccer complex, so we can zero that out.
500
The one
goes
you're
out,
on.
the 775
Something is
goes
zero?
out.
No. The field
Oh.
lights, that's at zero.
What are the lights at pool? Do you have to have those?
We do not, that can be zeroed out.
Okay. In other words, what do you have to open it?
Okay, so let's zero that. If you want to give me the keyboard, I can do it since you're
Nope, I'm
writing.
doing it. I'm just writing down what I
I'd
did.
leave the 200 down below, and then I would leave in the security system. You're going to have that.
We'll come back. So the playground equipment at the Sherman, let's zero that out. We haven't talked about this, but this, we can add this as additional security cameras at,
That could be admin also for the building.
well, we have them around the building, but this would be more so of the site at
The park,
the park.
okay?
So I would suggest we keep that in.
I would want to keep the 200,000 for
The
BRAC.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. And the digital community board,
We can zero that. That's not a necessity. You've already approved a sign for us to put in, a stagnant sign, so we can zero that.
and the 500 up at the top,
And then let's go back.
parking.
The parking lot, do you want to put the parking lot at the Sherman Soccer Complex?
Unless it's
I
gonna
would
be-
say yes, because that's kind of how we implemented the parking to really, the parking fee to really aid with expenses and to be able to create parking. I'm completely agreeing with everything else that we removed. I would not remove the parking lot and the soccer field.
Wouldn't remove the parking lot and what else, Flavia?
No, I would not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would not remove it. I would leave the
Anything else?
500,000 there.
And the
That's
reason.
the only thing that
If the soccer thing goes south, what's that field gonna do for us?
What's the parking lot going to do?
If the Sherman
Well,
deal
because the
goes
par- the
south,
parking
what's
lot-
that parking, all that parking expense of $500,000 gonna do for us?
Well, we won't know, but the parking lot is something
It'll be
that's
vacant.
needed. We're not, there's still parking over there. So parking, it's a needed, like it's not, we're short. I mean, I drive there, every time that there's soccer, it's parking, it's all over the place. Even if you cut one of those, even if one of the leagues leave, they still need the parking. I mean, you truly do.
Okay, so that's what we're getting to. We're saying that there is a need in addition to soccer for parking.
Yes, because
Okay.
if you lose flag, you still need it for soccer. If you lose soccer, you need it for flag,
Okay, well then, can we also take out the 2,550,000?
We're gonna go to that one next. I just wanted to
Oh, okay.
clear on the
I
parking
saw
lot
the
at
little
this.
deal around it, so I was assuming that it was
Yeah.
getting ready to hit a button.
Well, is,
Okay, I would agree then.
Carol, did you have any comments on the parking lot at the Sherman Soccer Complex?
No, I think we should leave that in.
Okay, so then let's go back to the other page. Bob, you're not saying
I'm good.
anything. Okay,
I'm good.
so the 2.5 million, 2.5 is basically the soccer complex for this, the new sod and irrigation, and then half a million. Why is that in there?
That's, why is that 500,000 in there? We just put 500,000 in for the
That should,
parking.
then that number should totally come out. The 2.5.
Project and design.
So that would come,
Okay, I
that come
think
totally come
Doug
out.
was saying that we could wait on the sod and everything for another time.
Yeah.
But that we should do lights and parking over at.
And I agree,
Sherman.
and I agree with that, and I agree with
So
that
can
too.
we put the lights back in? The lights at Sherman, not the lights at the pool.
What's the lights?
No, you don't,
Lights
that's no
at the,
sod, nothing, right? We're not
Something's
gonna do
wrong
anything
here.
over there. Okay. I
the light,
misunderstood.
what's the lights for the soccer only?
The lights, we zeroed that out earlier.
I know, but what is it that we're talking about that?
750, I think it was.
Replacing all the lighting out
Yeah,
there.
but I'm wondering,
How
what's the
much?
number?
775,000.
We're
Let's go back to that page before. I don't, where was that? 775? I don't okay, that was that one. So what we're proposing to do is
That
put-
could be, that
put
can be
all
reduced
that
to
lighting in,
700.
all on the come that they're gonna be there. That's
That
a
could
risk.
reduce to 700,000 if you so chose.
How's that?
Because I got an updated number from some of the vendors that I've been working with.
Why don't we reduce it to 700,000 and put that back in? So lights and the parking over at the Sherman. Not lights at the pool, lights at
I
Sherman.
did, yeah,
Oh,
right
okay.
here.
The field lights with
Field lights.
control link
Yeah.
Oh,
is
okay.
the specific.
This says pool, it's 0. And then this,
Did you get that
And then
comment?
where's the
That's
parking?
right there, the 500.
Oh, okay,
Where
thank you.
that commons amenities, that 650, go back the page. Did you get
that was
that?
dog park and
Yeah, but did you go back and get that, go back a page? Did you get that pulled out to where?
Here.
Oh, you
I
haven't
can't
changed
update
any of
This
that?
is the
Oh, okay.
PDF, I can't
Okay,
change that.
okay. But it's, what it is the 5 and the 150.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so,
Bob,
so
Flavia,
if we
thoughts?
do all of the pink, go back to the other, if you do all the pink, the blue, what we have in green, and the yellow.
That's right here, I already updated
You
it.
basically took out $5 million.
It's about half.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
I'm not gonna worry about the allocations right now.
We took out $5 million and deferred it for further decision.
And
You
6%.
And I agree with that, because I agree also adding the lights will allow them to rent the fields longer if they needed it to. So I'm okay with Ed's mindset and also Carol's, let's just wait for the other stuff for one more year and see if there's a need to it. If the fields become more of a need, once we have the lights as well.
So you removed $5 million in projects, because this was 1099 something, now it's 599, so you
So
took $5 million.
6% of 5, or 6 million, now the total is, right? Almost 6 million?
Yeah,
6% of 6 million is $36,000, right?
30,000.
Or 360.
30,000.
360,000,
6% of 6 million,
360.
it's 360.
Mhm.
360.
Okay. Then each one of these, this is what I was looking for in the budget, but I don't think it's there. Where is the P and I that pays for each of these components in the budget?
There is no P and I for each of these components in the budget because we don't have to pay it until 2027, 28.
So it's going to come in the next year.
It's just same as when we did the bonds the
Okay,
last
okay.
time, where you approved it and then it didn't hit the tax bill
Then we're going
until
to my
the
next
next
question.
time.
Fast forward 1 year, we're in this same deal.
Mhm.
$6 million, assuming nothing changes, nothing gets bigger or whatever. what's the principal and interest payment that's getting scattered to the pools?
I don't know if Steven figured that out or not. I talked to Russ briefly this morning, and we were looking at the 12 million basically because the last bonds were about 13, and it was like what $153 a household for the 13 million, and we were looking at the 12 because we're taking out a little less, but the interest rates are a little higher. My back of the napkin, super rough, do not commit me to these numbers math, is that it would stay about the same as what you're paying. So if you're going to take half, then I would assume that it would be around half of what you're paying in now. So about $80 a year. I think I want to say it's like $153 a year for
It's going to
the,
be about, if you 15 years on 6 million, that's 400,000 a year plus interest.
yeah. I don't,
So
Steven,
that's going to go scattered through each one of these accounts somewhere
in the general fund, yeah.
in the general fund. So good examples, park and recreation is essentially a third. So park and rec is going to get hit in addition to 600,000 in operating costs, another 150,000 in capital. And here we go again, right back up into the same corner we get into every time. The money isn't there. That's why I'm hesitant spending that 1.3 million. We just keep coming around the same circles. The money isn't there. And we do this, and it doesn't make any difference whether you build it, you're going to pay for it. It
What
doesn't
do
make
you think
sense.
is not gonna be built, Ed?
What?
What do you think is not gonna be built?
The only option I see right now, or an alternative may be, and this is where Tony probably is going to have to come in, is to what extent, oh boy, this is stupid to ask it, to what extent can we mix and match? And let's say next week, next month, next quarter, something comes up and it costs $1 million. Can we substitute it for one of these items?
That's your, from what funding source? I guess if we're talking about using bond proceeds, we have a range of projects listed in the project, overall project description when we did the validation. And I think we've talked about you can generally move within certain, you can generally move within certain categories to a certain extent.
Well, your problem is if this was based on this and Russ put in, or Tetra Tech does their engineering report and Russ does his bond, or not bond validation, his assessment methodology distribution. And then you go and change any of these from pool to pool or silo to silo,
We wouldn't,
the whole thing wrecks.
we,
But again, if we're talking about debt financing, we're talking about the special assessment for the debt financing. That debt will not appear on the tax bill until 27, 28 tax bill. So that if you, when you come to the point in time when you want to actually issue the bond, you say, we don't want to fund X, Y, Z, then you don't, with this bond series, you don't. To the extent it's in your budget, you, I think arguably you could just amend your budget to revise it accordingly,
so
to take it out from a project scope. That's what I'm thinking.
so Ed, why it's important right now. You don't have to decide on any of this right now. We're not deciding on any of this right now. But for purposes for Pelican to set their high water mark, because they don't have a bond, they have to either assess, pull it from reserves, or they can
Just to
take
have
out
the
a,
money to be able to pay for their
or
share.
take out a 5-year loan. So in order not to cut them off, if they want to set their high water mark to include their 273 or however much.
Well, what's to keep them, if you're going to bring it that way, what's to keep them from go back, fast forward to the 10,999,000, and I'm assuming the 273 would have been almost double because just prorate it.
Right.
What's to keep them at this number from putting in 500,000 in their funding to cover the basis?
They could.
Okay.
They
So they don't have,
they
they're
could
not
choose,
tied down to that.
they could
Okay.
choose, so if they owed,
I see what you're getting to.
if their proportionate share was 600,000 of the 10 million number. Again, they would get the three options: assess, take out a 5-year bank loan, pull it from reserves. So they could choose to go and do,
But all or portion.
yeah, they could choose.
I'm less concerned about that. They'll make that decision as they get there. But as I'm looking at this, as we're currently have it thought of, I can't help thinking that when we open the new facilities, that there will be much less negativity to enhancing and improving that commons area. I think when people see the pickleball and they see the tennis and just the whole complex, there's going to be a lot of support to do a lot of the things that we pulled out today, but we'll do it next year or another year. So
I agree with you, Bob.
Laura,
I
change
like
that
where we're at right
002 account for the waterway and correct that.
I will, it's gonna mess up a lot of other stuff, so I have a note to fix that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Other
Okay,
than
well,
that,
as
I'm
long
fine.
as the-
This is not in the actual.
as
I have
long
to
as they
update the
have
whole
that,
actual
my-
budget, depending on what I'm not doing that on the fly, so.
And once we get to it, once we get to the assessment chart, these numbers are why Pelicans went from -2%, which was the first number we saw, to a positive 3%,
Because you added that
to a
number in.
now a positive 6.8%.
Because you, but what number,
because
but what number did you put in
They
the 270?
levied for all of the stuff that was in the O2 account under the $12 million,
The 11 million, yeah.
the
Yeah.
well,
Okay,
figure.
gotcha.
So that's why it's important for Pelican to know what we are and aren't going to do next year. So Pelican can decide what to do.
So if, one more.
I mean, they may decide to take it out of reserves rather than.
They get some flexibility.
Yes.
So Tony, if we took that 1.15 million, which are the two questionable things that are in here, we go ahead and leave it in here. And then let's say next year at this time, we see that this soccer deal and this whole field thing is going nowhere. Could we take that 1,150,000 that's in that bond that we're going to be paying for the following year in 2028 for principal and interest and spend it on something else?
We have to look at what the project description is and in the engineer's report and how much flexibility we have to articulate. But again, remember we had categories. We had roadways, water management, parks and recreation. I'm trying to think of the other, admin. I think those are the four
See,
categories.
my hands are tied that if we go in there on that Parks and Recreation and for some, whatever reason that soccer and flag does not go through, what are we going to spend 1.15 million on? Well, not only 1.15 million, it's 1.8 million since we have the lights on it also. What are we going to spend that on? It's park related.
If we
can't transfer it
decided
to another
build-
account.
But if you decided to build the band shell, if there was a lot of community support to put the band shell in the new commons area, you just slide it to there. It's still under Park and Rec.
That band shell on the last survey was a flop. It went nowhere.
Ed, I
Nobody
agree.
wants it.
I agree.
But I think it's what Bob is saying. Once it's built and once they see
Right.
pickleballs and things, like, and again, like even us, was stuff that we thought it was needed and necessary 2 years ago, we said is no longer needed, and stuff that we thought was no longer needed is needed it. So, a survey, I get it, and it was that, but I agree with Bob on this one. Let's hold on to it. If we don't use it on that end, we can use it for the commons. And we may not even use it at all, but it will allow us the ability to.
What it boils down to is that we have in our possession then, say it another way, we have 1.8 million of funds that could come off the shelf for soccer related and go to something else that would be park related.
Correct.
So that could be grass, could be band shell, could be food truck, parking, whatever you want. It's things we could have.
These projects, if you approved them and we proceeded with this, the majority of these projects I could foresee to be completed within the next year. So let me give an example.
So we're
The
making,
parking lot,
Chelsea, if you say that at the public meeting and the hearing on this, they will hang you. They will hang you.
well, if I can.
But people don't want that stuff until they pay their share.
let-
They
let me
don't
gi-
want to pay
let me
this,
give
and
you
they
an
certainly don't want to
example.
risk it.
Let me give you an example. The parking at the Sherman Soccer Complex, that's in design, that's in permitting right now.
It doesn't mean we have to spend it.
Correct. But I'm just saying, we've invested the dollars in the design. If you choose not to spend it, you choose not to spend it. Now, the lights, I think at the last board meeting, you all said, or at least Doug said, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said, hey, the sooner we could get these up and running, the better.
The sooner people will rent.
The sooner those will rent, the sooner we could potentially recover the cost. And you've updated the fee schedule for the public hearing to reflect some of that. The cameras at the Commons, that's a easy install. We could make that happen. PrAC is going to come to you with their concepts of whatever projects they have. And then the Commons
I mean,
amenities.
Chelsea, I do have a question. I know we gave the 200, the direction of 200,000. Was any guideline given to them? Like, are they looking at are they looking at infrastructure? I mean, because, you know, it is a blank check, and I'm one to not write blank checks regardless of the dollar amount. Is this something that they're thinking of marketing? Is this something they're going to be thinking of infrastructure
Flavia,
for
I looked at
parks?
this
What is it?
Flavia, I looked at this, I hope I was looking at this as a budgetary number, not a blank check to be used.
Exactly. And the more I look at it, I'm like, what guidelines have we given them, you know, for this $200,000? Because if anything, you know, I'll continue to have their support and their feedback, you know, going out there and doing the work for us and having us make the financial decision on things. But I have no idea what is this $200,000 in their mind, because they haven't even come up to us to tell us what would they like to have this money for.
So
you know, it's not like they came to us and say, hey, listen, we'd like to do with small projects or, you know, hire, because if this is for hire a band, I would totally be opposed for what we spent, $10,000 a few years ago. I'll be opposed to that. So I'll be opposed to certain things. I just, now I'm questioning, what is this $200,000 for? Because it's feeling like a blank check to me.
It was not. It was conveyed to them not as a blank check, as a budget. It was conveyed to them as enhancing the infrastructure with regards to programming, trying to provide additional programming to their Parks and Rec program, and improvement.
Yeah, I'll just cut you off right here. I'll be totally opposed with it. With $0. I mean, I will go on this, Chelsea. And, you know, you and I have always talked about this. I go to you and then you go to your staff. As of right now, it's not just a feel. It's the proof is in the pudding. I feel there is an opportunity, a huge opportunity for programming, for going out there and getting programs and getting stuff. I mean, I can't tell you enough that I feel like we need someone in there, and I don't think we have it. So if we have staff that is incapable to do such a task, now we're going to give Parks and Recs such a task. I'll be absolutely opposed for $200,000 for, you know, to create programs to be able to utilize, you know, a beautiful facility.
Let me clarify. It's not programming in that sense. It's putting in infrastructure in place that can enhance the existing amenities that we have. So, like, for instance,
give me an example.
The workout stations. That is one thing that they've contemplated, is potentially doing the workout stations throughout the paths. I know that they have had conversations. They're going to bring it in front of you. You could still choose to nix this as part. Oh, yeah. There's no decisions that are being made today other than what could be the impact to PPAC with regards to setting a high water if they wanted to assess. So all of these are still on the table. I want to be very clear. PrAC has had discussions. They are going to come in front of you. I don't have that readily available right now because I wasn't able to attend this week's meeting, but they are working on a plan.
Okay. So if we took what this email worksheet, I'll call it right now, the way you have it, and taking out the 17,600, how would that change the 2027 assessment chart, which is the next item in the worksheet, in the work?
I have to go through and plug in a bunch of different numbers to get that to calculate.
Okay.
So
So, but you could have that for our regular meeting then.
That needs to be checked because there's a lot of places the numbers get plugged in. I can give you a rough idea, but it needs to be verified before I can post it.
But none of these costs are 2027 for the bond. None of these costs are on 2027 rates.
Correct. Other than Pelican's proportionate share.
Yes, the 001 stuff is completely offset by bond funding. So the general fund, there's zero impact from
It'll
these
show up next
costs.
year in each of the
P&I.
silos as a principal and interest payment.
Correct, debt service, yes.
Okay.
The only accounts that are directly impacted in this year's assessment by your decisions are Pelican and the enterprise fund.
And then the decision, beating this thing into the ground, the decision to spend that 1.8 million that's in this budget, that comes before the board before it is given a go-ahead and a stamp.
Correct. The next step,
And that could be 2 months from now, 6 months from now, whatever.
the next step would be for us to go to Tetra Tech and to Russ and say, we need an engineer's report and we need assessment numbers from you, Russ. And then engaging with council and bond council as if you were to proceed.
I look at it a different way. It's telling our friends, we've just put 1.8 million on the table for you. That equates to, what was the number we came up with? 1.8 million divided by 15 years. So that'd be what, 150,000 a year? No, that's not right. What's 1.8 million divided by 15? It's 150,000, isn't it? Close.
120.
120,000 plus interest. So your share is about an additional 60,000 if we go a 50% minimum. When you commit to that, we'll commit to building it.
That's fair.
That I'd go along with. That way, if they're not going to have any intention of paying for it and we're putting it in and we're running all the risk, my deal is no, hell no.
Who is they?
Soccer and flag, the two of them combined.
The fields.
Got it, okay.
So this gives us an opportunity to come up with a plan before we do it, but it shows them we've gone the extra mile to give you basically everything you wanted.
Okay, so aside from Parks and Rec, because there are other capital projects on here that we have, you are generally okay with the rest of these projects, because again, I have to go to Tetra Tech. The next step is for me to go to Tetra Tech and ask for an engineer's report to start drafting these projects as a project
I didn't have any
scope.
project with any of those.
And I have a note to move the waterway expenses all into the general fund and remove it. It's not here, but I will fix that.
Okay.
So was there anything else with regards to the budget?
So this number right now that's on page 1 of 2, which is the assessment breakdown by fund, which is essentially the whole budget, correct? We're telling the people for the high water mark going into the meeting in 2 weeks that our anticipated change is basically 1%. Your rate currently,
Gateway.
your current rate in Gateway is 1285. It's going to 1296.
He's looking at the assessment chart.
So
Page 1 of 2.
I think somebody's going to ask, what's the trick? What's the catch? As we've gone 6, 8, 10% for how many years, dug in a row. So shouldn't be any surprises on anything.
Okay, is it possible to, based on our discussions in the workshop, when we get to agenda item 11C, is it possible to have the numbers?
That was my disclaimer before. There's multiple places in the workbook. I need to plug them in. I can give you an estimated one for today, but it needs to be validated. So it's going to take me some time because I can't just like change a number and everything updates. There's multiple places I have to go in and update it.
Since this is that agenda item is the high water mark budget
Correct.
that we're going to adopt.
Correct.
And I would like to know what those numbers are before I actually
Well, it won't be
vote.
more than what you're looking at right now because the changes we made reduced everything.
yeah.
So it'll be less. But yes, I understand what you're saying. But
Well,
I mean,
you're giving me 3
Well, this is-
minutes to get it done and I cannot do it in 3
Well,
minutes.
no, I'm giving you maybe
we will,
hour.
we will make an attempt, but again, they will not, we have to have Stephen Bloom validate them and confirm
Isn't
them.
he on the line?
He is, but although the sheet looks simple, there is a lot of math going on in the background and a lot of pages that are tied together. So I need to make sure that when I change it on this page, that it's also calculating right over on this page. So
We'll give
it's-
you a close, and tomorrow we can send, tomorrow, if not Monday, you're here tomorrow?
What is the deadline?
The 15th
The
of June.
15th, which is next Friday, correct?
No, it's a week
Next.
from Monday.
You've got your high water mark.
Yeah, you got
No.
your
The
high
big
water
thing.
mark here,
That's the big
so.
idea.
Well,
You're
yeah.
safe.
The idea is today in the public meeting
to
to
re-
adopt a resolution approving the budget at the high water mark and setting the public hearing to adopt the budget.
Right.
I think that,
Correct.
Yeah.
I understand that, Tony, but being a member of this board, I would like to know what those numbers are before I actually cast a vote. And what you're saying is you can't tell me that today. So could we have another meeting just to vote on this one agenda item next week when you can get it done?
let us make a stab at it today.
Okay,
And by the end of this meeting, if we need to continue this meeting to a time and date certain next week,
Location, certain, yes.
yes, then we will do that.
okay.
All right,
Sounds like
so
a plan.
Stephen,
What'd you say, Flavia?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, okay. Okay. During the workshop,
I have to go to the bathroom.
anything else
can you take a 5 or 10 minute recess? Would you mind?
for the workshop,
Or
No, it's for the meeting.
for the meeting?
finish the workshop and then take a 5 or 10
Okay.
minute recess?
What do you want to do? What next?
Nothing for the workshop.
So we adjourn the workshop, take a
I
5-minute.
I
We
move
just
that
went,
we recess for 5 minutes.
that's what we want to do. right?
Actually, during the workshop.
Adjourn
Adjourn the workshop
workshop,
and
yes.
I move to adjourn the work.
we'll reconvene the meeting
So
in
moved.
5